Welcome to Witches in Yoga Pants, your cozy corner of the cosmos where modern magic meets everyday life. We're here to explore magic, mindfulness, and personal growth with a grounded, no-fluff vibe. Whether you're into moon rituals, tarot spreads, or just trying to survive Mercury retrograde, you are in the right place. So get ready to disrupt some old patterns, explore what it means to reclaim your power, and remember who you really are. So pull up your yoga mat, light a candle, and let's get into it. Hello and welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about something that has been a part of human life for as long as we've been asking questions. This is something that shows up in nearly every culture in one form or another. Something that gets misunderstood, sometimes feared, sometimes dismissed, and often put on a pedestal it was never meant to sit on. Today, I want to talk about divination. Just hearing that word can bring up a lot. For some people, it feels exciting and familiar, and for others, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even taboo. For many, it carries the idea that divination is about predicting the future, telling fortunes, or handing our power over to something outside of ourselves. I want to gently reframe this. Divination is not about prediction. It's about reading energy. And it's not always certain because our lives have many moving parts and we all have free will. Nothing is set in stone. So it's not about someone or something else knowing your life better than you do. At its core, divination is about listening. It's about listening to yourself, your own intuition, and to spirit. It's about creating space to hear what's already present beneath the noise of the mind, conditioning, expectations, and urgency of everyday life. It's about tuning in to inner wisdom, and for many people, tuning into spirit or deeper intelligence that feels supportive. Divination sits at a crossroads. It lives between inner knowing and something larger than the ego mind. For some people, that something larger is spirit, guides, ancestors, angels, source, or the intelligence of life itself. For others, it simply feels like a deeper layer of self, a part of us that exists beneath the fear, the habit, and the overthinking. Divination gives that deeper knowing a place to meet us consciously. Humans have always done this, long before books, apps, therapy, or productivity systems. People looked to the sky, the earth, our own body, the elements, and they looked for patterns in nature for guidance. The truth is, we still do this today. We just don't always call it divination. We check the weather before we make plans. We notice patterns in our relationship. We sense when something's off without always being able to explain why. When we feel timing, we know when something feels aligned and when something doesn't. We get gut feelings that don't come with logic but still feel true. That is intuition at work. Divination does not create intuition. It focuses on it. It slows us down enough to hear it more clearly. And something I want to be very clear about in this episode is this. Divination is not meant to replace intuition. It's meant to check it. It's a way of pausing long enough to ask, is this feeling that I have coming from fear or habit, or is it coming from a deeper place? And for many people, divination is a way to receive messages from spirit, a sense of being guided, protected, and supported. So today, I want to walk through some of the most common forms of divination to help you recognize which ones resonate most for you and how they can support a deeper relationship with your own knowing and with spirit. Let's start with one of the most familiar ones, tarot and oracle cards. Cards are often misunderstood as fortune-telling devices, but in reality, they act as reflective tools. Tarot in particular is a structured system built around archetypes, universal human experiences like beginnings, endings, fear, hope, grief, transformation, and growth. When you pull a tarot card, you're not being told what will happen. You're being shown something that your subconscious already recognizes. That's why it's so common for people to pull cards that feel so accurate. And it's also why we sometimes pull the same card over and over again. This is spirit or your intuition telling you to pay special attention to that message. Cards are also a powerful intuition check because they externalize what is happening internally. When you see an image or a word reflected back to you, you recognize it immediately. Oracle cards work in a similar way, but with less structure and more fluidity. They tend to feel softer and more open-ended, and they offer themes or imagery rather than fixed framework. Some people love the clarity and consistency of tarot, while others prefer oracle because they feel gentler and less directive. I personally use both. Neither is better. They simply serve different purposes. When used with discernment, cards don't take your power away. They return it. They invite you into reflection with yourself and with spirit rather than handing you answers. Astrology is another form of divination that often gets misunderstood as fate or prediction, when reality, it's about cycles and timing. Astrology helps us to understand the energetic climate we're moving through. It doesn't tell you what will happen, it offers context. And it helps explain why certain phases of life feel heavier and why some seasons feel more expansive, and why others feel like it's a time of pruning and integration or rest. Astrology can be a powerful way to connect with both inner wisdom and something larger than yourself. It reminds us that we are part of natural rhythms and that life isn't meant to move in straight lines. Numerology works in a similar way, but through numbers rather than planets. Numbers carry energetic themes, rhythm, and pattern. Many people notice numerology through repeating numbers, seeing the same sequences over and over again, and wondering what it means. Often, it's less about the number itself, more about the awareness being drawn to a pattern. Numerology can help bring clarity to themes in identity, growth, challenge, and timing, and it can offer perspective on why certain experiences repeat until they're integrated. Palmistry is another form of divination that is far more fluid than people realize. Our hands change over time. The lines shift, the texture changes, and your hands reflect how energy is moving through you right now. It's not a permanent destiny written in stone. Palmistry can offer insights into tendencies, strengths, stress patterns, and how you engage with life. It becomes a way of listening to the body and recognizing how life has been lived and how it's currently being met. Then there are tools like pendulums and dowsing rods. I personally use a pendulum every single day. I use it for myself, as well as a tool for connecting to my client's subconscious energy to do the clearing work that I do. I use pendulums as a tool for spirit to speak through. And dowsing rods can function in a similar way. Finally, there's everyday divination, the kind that doesn't involve any tools at all. It's the song that plays at the right moment, the same message coming through different people, the animal that you keep encountering, the feeling that you can't shake, even when logic tries to talk you out of it. Life is constantly communicating, and all these are connections to spirit or your intuition. Divination isn't searching for signs everywhere or forcing meaning onto everything. It's about awareness. It's about noticing what continues to show up gently and consistently. And this is where discernment matters. Divination should never create fear. It should never remove your agency, and it should never convince you that you are powerless. If a tool begins to create anxiety, dependence, or disconnection, it's time to step back because that relationship needs recalibration. Divination is meant to strengthen trust in yourself, not to replace it. Over time, the real gift of divination isn't the insight itself, it's the relationship you build with your own knowing, and for many, with spirit as a supportive presence. The more you use these tools with curiosity instead of urgency, the more you'll begin to recognize intuition without them. Eventually, the tool becomes optional because the trust is already there. So if you're wondering whether divination is for you or which form might resonate most, ask yourself, does this help me slow down? Does this help me listen more deeply? Does it bring me into my body and help me trust myself? Because the right tool doesn't give you answers. It helps you remember that you already carry them. And if something stood out today, it wasn't random. So as you move through the rest of your day, I'll leave you with this question. Where have you already been receiving guidance? And what might change if you trusted it just a little more? Until next time, be gentle with yourself, honor what you feel, and remember, you don't need certainty to move forward. You just need presence. Take what you've heard today even further by joining my newsletter community. Each week, you'll receive journal prompts and reflections connected to the episode that are designed to guide you in bringing these conversations off the podcast and into your own journey. Let's keep going deeper together. The link is waiting for you below.